Now, basically, you know that they say this thing, we are what we eat. You understand, basically. And due to certain reasons, okay, let's start from our genetics, okay? Our forefathers, over the long period of years, were not people that eat late. Once it's sunset, it's time to go to bed. So most of the eating are actually done early in the morning to maybe 6 p.m. Now, some years down the line, we have civilization, and the whole thing changed. The type of food we eat has changed. The time we eat has changed. So therefore, there will be a change in the body structure. So there's a tendency, for one or two reasons, that if you eat late, you will gain weight. And when you gain weight, you're at risk of having hypertension and so many other issues. So it's actually a culture, society challenge. And especially if you live in the city of Lagos, where you may not get home till like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. and thereafter, you are bound. You really cannot help the fact that you will eat late. And, you know, sometimes we look at these things like government and policies, and it's a spiral effect. This is a domino effect when we have poor labor laws. You have poor labor laws. People are spending long hours in the office for little pay. People want to work so much, so hard for little pay. Then you see people eating late. You see this thing.
What's the effect of this? No. What is the negative effect of this? So why is it that people eat so late? You've explained that. But what is the negative effect?
The negative effect is that once you eat late and you gain weight, you most likely be prone to hypertension and some other diseases. People like that, some people actually have psychological disorders that actually they'll prefer to eat at night to sort of calm their stress. You understand? Or deal with depression. Do you get my point? So it's not healthy to actually have such an habit.
What's the correlation between high blood pressure and eating late at night?
High blood pressure and eating late at night, it's this. First of all, when you gain weight, you will gain weight from eating late at night because most of those foods are actually stored as fat. They are not metabolized because you are not active. More so, you have stress hormones that help you to even store more, almost like cortisol. Actually release more when you don't sleep on time and you keep awake at night. So when you have these things, you will, with cortisol, with the fact that you have elevated cholesterol, that will narrow the blood vessels, that will increase the blood pressure. Cortisol itself enhances an elevated blood pressure also. So you're talking about, you're supposed to be resting, you're not resting, you are more alert, you are more tense. Your vessels actually been narrowed because of the adipose of tissues over it. So these and several other things. And especially the role of salt also. Salt also plays a key factor in that matter. So salt is central in the control of high blood pressure, and salt is central in the cause of high blood pressure. So when you bring all these factors together, these risk factors, someone who tends to eat late will gain weight, will most likely be hypertensive.
See, I'm getting from what you're saying that it's not advisable to snack or eat too late at night. What would be the appropriate time to have dinner, taking every other factor, especially for those living in a metropolitan city like Lagos? What should be the right time for dinner?
Now, you know, it's one thing for you to say something, it's another thing for what you say, is it practical? The best time is actually like 6 p.m., max 7 p.m. is the best time, but is that practical for most people?
So what's the time frame between when you eat and when you should go to bed? I think that should rather solve the problem. If there is a time frame, we're told not to eat not to eat 2 hours. Mm-hmm. So what's the proper time frame? So people
the 2 hour is usually because of the issue of possibly you don't develop reflux acid issues, okay? You don't have some other issues, but it's really the best time that as early as 6 p.m., 7 p.m., you are done with dinner. By 9 p.m., max p.m., 10 p.m., you are in bed.
So what's your advice to those, especially the working class, that tend to eat late?
You know, when I see people in the clinic and I discuss with them, since I'm a bit on the big side, I tell them, look, you know we're in the same struggle, so I can relate with what you're trying to do. We live in the same city. You understand? So we try to find out ways in which, okay, if you realize that you will get home late, it's better you make sure that you have a heavy lunch or a normal lunch and have a light dinner. Do you understand? So we shift it that way so that you don't put the bulk of that on your dinner. Try and make sure that, okay, maybe you prepare your food in the morning and you eat it by 3, 4. That'll be the main meal for the day. Then maybe on your way back, you buy fruits or you take something light for dinner. That's what I usually tell people.
Okay, that's for the generality. Do you feel, because heart condition is something that, you know, a lot of medical people like you tend to worry and caution people about. Do you think that government is creating enough awareness about heart wellness?
Well, the first rule of government is actually to let people live, to have policies that promote the right quality of life. The quality of life is not that fantastic, and government has a role to play. So if we have a better quality of life, do you get my point? The media primarily has a role to play in that regard. But what if the media is talking about it, but people can't practice it because everybody's just living life, running out of skelter, spending long hours in traffic, and having basically a crazy way of living. So it's one thing for you to talk about it. It's one thing for you to actually have policies that enhance it. There should be stronger labor laws that favor people. Some countries right now actually tending toward a 4-day work so that we can actually start on Thursday and not on Friday.
That will be the day.
Some people are talking about let's close by 3 p.m. Nobody should stay beyond 3 p.m. You understand? And somehow this thing actually enhances productivity for even the workers themselves. Because sometimes you realize that sometimes in the office, people efficiency is reduced when the time span is expanded. So you need government to actually come up with policies that are pro good quality life. You understand? Then when you have that policies in place, people can naturally people will nobody wants to go home late. Everybody will love going home early.
All right.
So the policies and the way of life should actually be the first thing.